Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pride FT. The FT stands for Football Thoughts. We're back again for another summer edition. No games to talk about, but lots of other stories and news to break for you. Things are happening quickly, stories are developing fast. We're trying our best to keep up, but it is tough in these modern times. As ever, I am joined by my illustrious co-host Clark. Hello.
Hello. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
we're trying to catch up. It's literally like changing news every bloody day.
it's crazy.
Full-time job, and then you're trying to bust out content. So, I've done a short video on Monday. There was just updating you. I'll probably do another one this week at some point, or Bo will do one this week. But yeah, how are you, mate? All good?
Yeah, I'm not so bad. I've had a bit of an illness, like a bit of a summer flu that's kind of made its way through my system for the first few days of this week. So bear with me, anyone. If you kind of see me wheezing or croaking, you know why that is.
That's just normal.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best at any point during the record. I'm going to try my best to mute it, but if I get caught out, all right, I do apologize if it breaks your eardrums at like midnight if you're listening to this at night for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know why
not?
you would be. Maybe you're strumming one out. I don't know
know.
what you're doing.
maybe you're just on night shift.
Yeah, I was going to say, or the more, it could be exactly. You might be stacking shelves overnight, security guard, anything like that. But let's move on from that dirtiness to actually quite a somber story for the first story
it was
of
a
the
very
day.
change of
So
thing there.
yeah, sorry, I do apologise for that. It's been announced today via Chelsea on their Twitter account and on the website. Chelsea Football Club is greatly saddened to announce the passing of our former player and manager, John Hollins, MBE. All at the club send our heartfelt condolences to John's family and friends. That was a tweet they put out, I believe, a couple of hours ago. I did go onto the website just to get a look at his obituary. Obviously, he's a player that comes well before our time, personally, me and you. I'm sure my dad would know a lot about him and the kind of how he played back in the 60s and the 70s, and many other Chelsea fans as well.
Yeah.
I'll read a bit through his obituary that is currently on the Chelsea website, just to kind of get an idea about who he was and where he came from. So effectively, he was only 15 when he signed for the club. He went on to win trophies in the 60s and 70s. He was a classic first name on the team sheet for Chelsea for a decade from 1965. Invariably described as leather-lunged in the parlance of the day, the mobile midfielder was the dream player for managers Tommy Docherty and Dave Sexton. Selfless, defence-minded, enthusiastically versatile, creative. He was no stranger to the score sheet with 64 goals in a mighty 592 performances, the fifth most matches of any Chelsea player. Work rate and reliability came with a usually clear bill of health, as he was a key member of the Blues H Troop, along with Harris, Hinton, Houseman, Hudson and Hutchinson. So he basically, he was a stalwart in the club. As I said before, he went on to manage Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
And seems like, if you read through the obituary, is a very, very liked character around the club, and served as an ambassador for the club for many years as well. And one of those names that when you talk about the kind of classic and iconic players of, especially that team in the 70s, his name always seems to come up. So RIP to John Hollins.
Yeah, our condolences.
Yeah, condolences to your friends and your family. A sad loss to the club and all those fans. And I would highly recommend reading the obituary on the Chelsea website, because it's wonderfully well written, and it'll give you a better insight to the player and the man himself. So
definitely,
RIP to John Hollins, and we'll move on to the next story.
Definitely, So Arsenal are in talks to sign Kai Havertz after positive contacts on the player's side. He's keen on the move, no doubt there. Chelsea want around 75 million for Havertz now.
Pay up, bitch.
Arsenal will not pay that amount. Mate, honestly, right, take him just like for free, because it'll be exactly the same as the Jorginho effect, and your club's gonna go into the shitter even more than it already is.
Yeah, so this one dropped today as well, actually, not long before recording. There's obviously been a lot of chat about Havertz last couple of weeks.
Yeah, with Real Madrid.
About Real Madrid, exactly, and him thinking of a way to kind of leave the club. Obviously, he's had a bit of a up and down spell with us. He's scored important goals. He's had shit games. He's had good games, but those good games are few and far between. Statistically, he's nothing to write home about as well.
Definitely.
But yeah, so this,
it's a loss for words.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't see how Arsenal, where he fits in Arsenal's setup.
I don't see where he fits in Real Madrid's setup. I don't see where he fits in any setup.
Well, exactly. He's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? A bit of a conundrum for a lot of teams in Europe. I think he facilitates in his best. He facilitates quite a specific role. He's not really a striker. He's not really a centre mid.
He's somewhere in between.
He's somewhere in between, and I think for a lot of modern teams, that's a position that's hard to fill.
Yeah.
A lot of modern managers don't really play like that anymore. It's more of a role that you may have seen in the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
You think about your Kakas, obviously James Rodriguez. A few years later on, but those kind of players that don't really exist anymore. Ronaldinho's and the like.
Yeah.
So. I can see us obviously wanting to make the bag back on Havertz. What I will say about his signing, that although it was for a lot of money and maybe hasn't panned out, the fact that he's so young means we've got a lot of play with like the kind of figure we can command, because we can say, this is a young guy. He's won a Champions League. He's worth cash, so you need to pay up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is good.
Not 75 mil though.
No, exactly. I think you'd be hard pressed to have anyone find 75 mil for him.
40 mil at most.
That's what a lot of people have said. I was watching a stream earlier on today on the DR Sports channel, and they were talking about it.
Yeah.
And they said like a lot of people polled 30 to 40 mil would be what they would say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just not a 75 mil player. I mean, for 75 mil, you're expecting at least 10 to 15 goals a season, or even like a little bit more, maybe north of 15 goals. But he scores about 2, so it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, I know. Like he struggles to break 10 goals a season, doesn't he? So it's like you don't pay 75 mil for a player like that.
Well, not worth it. Is that?
And I just like they've already got a striker like that in Jesus, who looks pretty on the eye, but doesn't actually score that many goals and is a pretty poor finisher. So a bit of a strange one. I don't really see that, but Fabrizio Romano, he is generally quite clued up, and I guess if you're going to listen to anyone in the kind of transfer scene, which is not normally advised, he may be one that you might want to trust.
I can see a Havertz in an Arsenal shirt, to be honest. And if they want him, fucking take him, not ask.
But also, don't you think there's a lot of chat about our players like wanting to leave to go to like rival clubs in the Premier League? Don't you think it's getting a bit mad? You know what I mean? Don't you think we're getting a bit mugged off? Like if that's Havertz to Arsenal,
no, not really.
Mount to United.
I mean, Mount to United, but that's not really been done yet. I don't think so. I mean, this is like more concrete than we've had from that. And I don't know. I mean, Jorginho went there, obviously flopped again. He hasn't really made that much of an impact. He scored 1 goal, I think that's about it. And then Havertz, I mean, he's shit. Take him, he's shit. Like, we're not going to use him. He's going to be dead weight. He's going to be on the bench, taking up some salary. Honestly, sell him to fucking Wrexham for all I care. I don't just get rid of he's not good, bruv. We need a whole rework. Send him to a rival. You say about rivals, obviously we take people from rivals, so we can't really chat anything really. I mean, look at Sterling, straight from Man City. So we can't really play, woe is me sort of thing. So it is what it is, as we always say. It is what it is. That's the game. The game is the game. And if Arsenal want to play the game poorly and take Havertz, then go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll move on then to the next story that's kind of regarding a player of a similar role. Chelsea and RB Leipzig agreed in December 22 that the deal for Christopher Nkunku would be announced after France's games in June.
Yes.
Obviously, we are in June.
We are.
I think France's last game is the 19th of June.
Right, so this Sunday,
Exact. Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. So we might expect to have the announcement.
Monday. Sorry, Monday.
We might expect, that's all right. We might expect to have the announcement within about a week or so.
Yeah. So I went over this on my little catch-up that I've done. But Nkunku to be formally, officially announced after France's game in June. So, next week at some point, we should see an actual tweet, I guess.
Yeah,
And a statement from the club saying, we all know,
yeah,
everybody knows, but now you know. It's
yeah,
like, okay, so like same as Pochettino, weren't it, really?
yeah. Basically,
Speaking about Pochettino, plans to go into next season with Kepa Arrizabalaga as his first choice goalkeeper, with the new Chelsea boss happy with Kepa. How the hell has
mm,
he come to this conclusion? I don't know. Unless
mm,
he's got something planned for him, but apparently he wants to go into next season with Kepa.
yeah. I'm a bit shooketh about that, to be honest.
I am.
I didn't.
Last we saw, sorry, on my little update video I done, I
Hmm.
saw from whoever it was saying that Kepa and Mendy were up for sale. So
Yeah,
again, that's how quick news turns around
yeah,
and changes, because all of a sudden we won him. So it makes no sense. He's not good, bruv. He's not the keeper we need
yeah,
to win, because I mean, shoot from outside the box. We say it time and time again.
yeah.
You're going to score, or you're going to have a very good chance of scoring. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's disappointing as somebody who's been anti Kepper for like 4 years, it feels like now. The guy just ain't good
It's a
enough. He
full-time
hasn't
job
been,
within itself.
basically, he hasn't been good enough for a long time.
No.
Um, and
Hence why we got Mendy, sorry.
exactly, yeah. And Mendy then came in and had an amazing
Yeah.
year, and for some reason was randomly dropped, even though he's about as good as passing as Kepa, and he's a better anyway. Whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know Mendy probably wants to go because he wants to cement a first player role with first player salary, and that makes sense. He's good enough to get that probably at most clubs in Europe.
Yeah.
And if we can't offer him that, then yeah, he's well within his right to go. Kepa's a weird one because I think the tough thing is we would bloody struggle to get rid of him. He's on massive wages for a goalkeeper,
Yeah.
especially because like the only place he'll be going, the only league he'll be going is probably back to Spain, and no one in Spain, not even Barcelona at this point, can afford his kind of wages.
No, definitely not.
So
Jesus
he's going to
Christ.
want to run down his contract for as long as he can.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it's just he had a bit of a revival last season. He technically, statistically wise, he was one of the
Good.
better performing
Yeah.
keepers in the league. So maybe it's like, look, we've got a lot of other deals to sort out. This is not a priority. Like, you're just going to have to run it back with Kepa, and see how you
Which
get
is
on.
fair
So
enough. Fair enough. I
yeah,
would like if they just came out and said that, honestly.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, exactly. But I guess it's everyone's so tight-lipped about anything transfer related, aren't they, and squad related, and he's probably wants to keep his cards close to his chest and doesn't want to give too much away, because other players in the squad might be like, hang about. So that means
Yeah.
what happens to me, So I guess it's all about the carrot, the carrot on the stick incentive is to try and keep every player in the dark and be like, look, you got pre-season, fight for your right to play.
Yeah.
And yeah, you might get into the squad, and yeah, if Mondi goes, maybe that means Slanina is the second choice, and maybe Slanina has a good few games.
Yeah, I would like to
If
see
Kepa
that.
gets injured, he fills in well, and he might be that guy. So, and next then, Kalidou Koulibaly as well. Peak for him. This is from Mate Moretto on Twitter. Kalidou Koulibaly is not part of Mauricio Pochettino's plans at Chelsea. There's been a lot of big chat about him potentially interested in Inter Milan. Well, they're interested in him. Inter apparently want to get him on a loan.
Yeah.
There's also been chat of Saudi clubs snooping around Koulibaly. It seems like a lot of our players are drawing interest from Saudi. Maybe that is the route that we need to take just to move players on.
Yeah, I said this in my little catch-up thing. The Premier League is looking to have a salary cap, which is equal to the TV, payments to the lowest paid team. And that is the cap that they'll have on wages. So I said in that little video, basically, just to recap, is that going to basically promote the Saudi league as the place to go, because you're going to get absolute tons of money, and that's what football is these days. No one cares about a badge, so that's all it is money. Where is the money? Koulibaly, I think where did he come from? Do we know? I can't remember. Napoli. Okay, so he's already accustomed to the Italian league.
Yeah.
So yeah, go to Inter. I mean, he's good, but he's not good. He's good. He's good, but he's not quite there. I think he has good games. He has terrible games. He's very, very angry. Just an aggressive, angry player. Gets a yellow card every 30 seconds. So it's like, that's more of a Italian style of play. I think more aggressive on the defensive side, not more tactically. But yeah, bloody have him. I'm not asked. I mean, look at the potentials we got. Chalobah, you got Fofana, we got Badiashile, we got Silva, obviously. So it's like all these people coming through. Yeah, fuck it, man. We don't need another person. Again, dead weight, getting rid of that dead weight. What do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly a major objective of this summer is to move on dead weight.
Yeah.
And parts of the squad that don't really fit anymore.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And I think he will quickly become one of those players.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously already 31. That's not old by any means, as we know. Thiago Silva's 38. But I feel like he's had a very rough up and down start to his Chelsea career.
Yeah, definitely.
Hasn't brought the kind of level of professionalism and experience that we were looking for.
Yeah.
And we've got younger players in our squad that already look more composed, that already look more ready to play
definitely
high-level Premier League football.
Fofana looks like he's been playing for us for about 10 years. He looks
and
so
Badiashile as well.
Intertwined. Badiashile is just saying he's a freak of nature. He's Wolverine, and he doesn't care. And you know what? Going forward as well, he's got that Rudiger presence about him. That's what I feel from Badiashile. But talking about Inter Milan, moving on to Romelu Lukaku. One source believes that Lukaku has already ruled out trying Chelsea again. Thank fuck for that, by the way. And would even be prepared to take a pay cut if that meant he was able to somehow stay at Inter Milan. A meeting took place between Lukaku and Al Hilal yesterday, again Saudi League, where the club offered him 20 million a season. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? 20 million a season. Lukaku is interested in the move, but wants a lot more as discussions are set to continue. Mate, I don't think you can even want a lot more. 20 million a season is already mental. Right, for your standard of football. I mean, you lost your team Champions League by getting in the way of a header. Let's be honest. And you had a couple of shots where I thought you was playing cricket. Honestly, so it's like I don't know what's going on through your mind. You're a rat anyway, so just take the money and fuck off. But anyway. I'm going to reel myself back in there. What do you think about this? Because I mean, take a pay cut and go wherever. I don't care. I don't think he's right for Chelsea at all.
Yeah. He's on big cash already at Chelsea. He doesn't want to be here. He's mugged the club off. He's got a big ego. Yeah, and really does think he belongs in like the top table of players in European football,
which he really doesn't. A big ego for fuck all, to be honest.
Yeah, I can't see Inter being able to afford him. He'd have to take a massive pay cut. If he's happy to do it, great. But they are not going to be able to his value. They're not going to be able to afford his transfer value.
Yeah.
And if there are clubs in Saudi who are willing to put down transfer money for him. Why would we
show me the monies? Come on,
why would we effectively loan him back to Inter and lose and pay part of his wages again and subsidize? That's just not going to work for us. So if there are Saudi clubs who are willing to offer him the bag, and 20 million is a lot.
Yeah,
$20 million a season is a lot of money. Obviously not Ronaldo or Benzema or even Kante money.
But he's not as good as them. So
yeah, well, exactly. Simply put, but that's the thing. This is where it gets awkward because I think he thinks he's as good as them. Yeah. So the fact that it's quoted here that he wants a lot more would suggest that he thinks he belongs. Pardon me, to share those kind of salary, which is a joke.
The maximum he can demand is 50 million, because if he's demanding 150 million, honestly, you are universes away from Kante level. You are absolutely deluded if you think that you deserve more than 50 mil a season. But yeah, if a Saudi club, Al Hilal, bloody Al Ittihad, whoever you are, any Saudi club wants to take him, please just take him. I don't care.
Yeah, just
Give us the
please.
how much would we charge? 80 million? Because they don't know the value of players.
Yeah, why not? 80
yeah,
mil. What did we
80
get him for?
mil.
90,
Go ahead.
95 we got him
Yeah,
for? 80
go
mil.
ahead. 80 mil. I'm
Take a
good.
slight loss.
I'm sound. I'm sound.
That'd be amazing.
Get him
That'd be
out.
amazing. The only problem is, I think a lot of clubs know that we need to sell to balance the book.
Yeah.
So we're not in a strong spot.
Do Saudi clubs know that? Different
I'd
kettle of
imagine.
fish.
I mean, they've got the internet, so they probably know.
Do
They'll
they?
just Google. How many squad players have Chelsea got?
Like
4,927. So they know we're going to need to sell. So we're not in a strong position. Having said that, we managed to sell Oscar to Shanghai.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
for 60 million.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's doable with a
definitely
good bit of negotiation.
Yeah.
Levi Colwill has been called up to the England squad ahead of their
Gee.
Euro 2024 qualifying fixtures against Malta and North Macedonia via the Secret Scout on Twitter.
Made up for him.
Yeah, I mean, what a great kind of reward and a present for having a really strong season at Brighton.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, are taking the piss with their constant thinking they're going to get him for 40 mil.
I know, yeah.
Bun your mum. But no, that's really great. I don't really rate Gareth Southgate as a manager. I think he's got clear limitations and has kind of got in the way of us winning trophies with a really good squad.
Yeah.
But one thing he is good at is giving players a chance, giving young players a chance. And the fact that Levi's been called up to play in these qualifying fixtures is quite good. And they're against really shit teams.
Yeah.
We always have these. I don't know why we always have to have these types of teams. I don't know. I don't know who it's for. It's not for Malta. It's not for North Macedonia. They're not going to learn anything from it. No. They're just going to lose 5-0.
Exactly.
And what are we going to learn? Like, no player is really being put against anything serious. So
it's just
if
a
Levi
chance
does
for
play,
injuries.
yeah, literally. And I think a lot of players don't really want to play these like post-season games as well. Like they probably just want a bloody break on a holiday.
Yeah.
Because they'll have pre-season, a few weeks after. So
exactly.
Yeah. You've got to think about all the Man City lot coming back after their
oh my god, Jack Grealish.
Massive parties.
I don't think
especially him.
Yet. Jesus,
no, I know he's probably
he had a
still on
high
it.
vis on and everything. Fucking mad lad.
It was a mess.
Love it.
But Levi Colwill, massive props to him. Really excited to see what he does. Hopefully he gets some game time and fingers crossed he can come back into our squad not injured, because as we know, Badiashile did get quite a bad injury at the end of the season. So we could be seeing Colwill starting in the starting lineup at the beginning of the season, which would be so good.
Yeah.
So well done to him.
Talking about Colwill, Levi Colwill and Noni Madueke have been included in the England under-21 squad for the under-21 Euro. So they've sort of got their work cut out for them here. They're bloody here, there and everywhere here.
They are.
So, congrats to them. Obviously, Madueke, mate, if you get injured, I'm coming to the England squad and punching the manager in the face. Because how dare you take one of our brightest sparks from last season and fizzle it out with your nonsense. But
fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
The under-21 Euros starts next week.
Yeah.
Starts on the 21st of June. England's first game is on the 22nd, next Thursday. And it should all be done and dusted by the 8th of July.
Right. Okay.
So a couple of weeks there. I don't actually know when our preseason officially starts.
July some point, I think.
It'll be July, won't it? Yeah. So we'll see. As you said, hopefully the lads stay together. They've got, let's have a quick run through of who they've got. They've got, in the group stage, they've got the Czech Republic. That's their first game on the Thursday. And then on the Sunday, they've got Israel under-21s. And then they've got Germany under-21s. And then from that point, obviously, we go into the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals. So you'd expect them to beat two of those three teams, and maybe definitely. Germany will give them a game. But we'll keep an eye on that as the summer goes on. See if Noni scores or Levi has good games. I'm sure they will dominate as they have been doing.
Definitely. What's next, Bo?
Another youth prospect to talk about as well. Cesare Casere. He had a fantastic under-20 World Cup, with Italy, where he was actually the player of the tournament. He finished as the player of the tournament and the top scorer as well. He did unfortunately lose. His Italy team did unfortunately lose in the final to Uruguay, 1-0. They scored in the 86th minute. Apparently, it was a bit of a shite game, and was quite low quality. So it's a bit peak for Cesare, But these moments happen in football. You have to learn to lose as well as you learn to win.
Yep.
So hopefully it will show him that, look, you can be the best player. You can be the best player. You can score the most goals.
Yeah.
But if your team is not working cohesively, you're not going to win tournaments. You're not going to win games. So he obviously already knows that.
I mean,
He's
you
not
live and
a
learn.
12-year-old.
It's experience. So yeah, I think it's a good learning thing because it's under 20s as well. So it's not like a proper. Like I know that
it's not a big deal.
I know that it's proper, but it's not a massive deal, is it?
No, and it's also really good because it's another young player we've got on the books that have really excelled at their level. In youth football, because we've had Kendry Paes have a good under 20 tournament, and so Andre Santos as well for Brazil. So all of these youngsters we've got are going to be coming through the next few years. It's a very exciting time.
Very, very exciting times. Moving on to the Soccer Aid. So we had Emma Hayes and Pochettino coached both teams on Soccer Aid. So Emma Hayes took the England 11, as well as was it Harry Redknapp and Stormzy?
Stormzy, well. Yeah. Stormzy was there,
and then Big Poch taking the World 11, which ended up winning the game 4-2. Ben Foster was in goal for the World 11 in the first half.
Yeah, that was interesting. Why is he in goal for the World 11? Is he Welsh?
No. So that's the thing. He thinks that it's because he's playing for a Welsh team. But I think they just had too many people when they thought, I'll shove him in there. But the World 11 is already strong. I mean, they win near enough every year. But
I think they've won like 4 in a row.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, but yeah, Ben Foster didn't let in any goals. As you know, we love Ben Foster, and even though it's a Chelsea channel, he has signed another 1-year deal with Wrexham. So he is there for another year. Super
Clutch.
Ben Foster in goal, and we're all for it. All for it. Back in the EFL, we fucking love it. But I mean, congratulations. I mean, it's a charity match. It's not deep, but it's just nice seeing Pochettino. He's already got his first trophy, so onto the treble, onto the quadruple we go.
Exactly. He's got that winning feeling now. He knows what it's like to win a trophy in England. He's won. He's won Soccer Aid, and now we move. Yeah, as you said, now we move on to the quadruple, which I'm sure we'll put Man City in, stop them in their tracks.
Yeah.
The bloody bastards, the juggernaut that they are, the footballing juggernauts. On to the women's football then.
Yes.
Catalina Macario has signed for Chelsea with a contract that lasts until 2026.
Hell yeah.
She's a 23-year-old Brazilian-born American player. Okay. She's coming from Lyon, who are obviously massive in the women's game in Europe.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, they're really good.
We did beat them in the Champions League, though, didn't we? Sorry.
I believe we did. I think then we got knocked out by Barcelona, didn't we?
Yeah.
She comes highly rated in the European scene. I think she's had a few injury issues that have kind of stalled her progress a bit.
Okay.
But it is believed that she will be an apt replacement for the outgoing Pernilla Harder. So we should be well stocked for the season coming. We've actually signed a fair few players.
Yeah.
Have a look on the Chelsea website. Go to the women's section if you want to see all of those names.
We have, that is a massive shoe to fill. With Harder leaving, so all best of luck to her. 2026, not a bad contract, little 3 years. 23-year-old coming into her prime. I'm guessing the women's age is still the same as the men's prime. I don't know.
So, why not?
She's 23, experienced from Lyon of all places. Absolute quality team in the women's. That's that. We got I can't even say her name. How do you say that name, bro?
Kadisha Buchanan?
Yeah, that's the one. And Jessie Fleming called up for Canada for the Women's World Cup. You've also got Millie Bright, Jess Carter, Neve Charles, Lauren James called up for the England's Women's World Cup. You got Eve Perisset called up for the French Women's World Cup. And Johanna Rytting-Kaynard, is it Kaynard?
I think so.
Called up for the Sweden for the Women's World Cup. Oh, bloody hell, there's more. We got
there's one more. We got 2 more.
And Catherine Berger and Melina Loopholes, called up for Germany. So they are all the squads according to the Wikipedia anyway. So congratulations, we're absolutely storming it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've mentioned this before, but I just wanted to put it in the notes because it is coming up soon.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a good tournament. Like, there's been a lot of buzz around women's football this season, and if you consider that the women's FA Cup final sold out Wembley, it's
Yeah,
the
it's
highest
mad.
ever attended
Yeah.
game. So I'm expecting this to be a very widely watched and covered tournament. So I'll be keeping an eye on it. Hopefully, England do well. And it just goes to show. This reminds me of when we, like Chelsea, when
When we were
we
at
were
a
in our
peak.
peak,
Yeah.
and we had, like our whole squad were like internationals.
We're internationals, yeah.
And we're in the first team of their internationals, like undisputed starters. Most of them were captains.
Yeah.
I think at one point we had like 4 or 5 national team captains in our starting lineup. You know what I mean? Which is just, that is the kind of heritage we just haven't had for a long time, and I think that's affected obviously the way that our squad deals with adversity.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good for us. We've got a good, strong, international contingent who will be going to the World Cup, and hopefully all of them will be having good tournaments. But hopefully the English will be having the best tournament.
Hopefully.
And if we could do the Euro and then World Cup flipping, 1-2 punch, that'd be pretty amazing.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. Youth. Obviously, as I mentioned, Levi and Noni called up for the England under-21 Euros. I've just talked about that and the games. We will be keeping more of an eye on that. As usual, though, I have kind of skipped out on the details.
Go to Twitter.
Go to Twitter again. Chelsea Youth. Blah blah blah.
There's
blah.
so
Go to the
much
Chelsea
going
website
on.
as well.
Honestly,
but that's what I mean. There is,
like
and honestly,
development teams. It's like
exactly
it's all over.
And these lads literally they go around. They all go to like international games. They're playing tournaments. Like most of the games aren't really anything to worry about. They don't really give us much to say about like their general quality or what they're going to bring to the first team. So I don't want to get too much into it.
No.
But if anything major does happen transfer wise or tournament wise, then we'll bring it up. All right. Yeah. But so far it's really just the under-21 Euros. So yeah.
Now, moving on to rival watch.
We need to get Calvin Harris to do us a jingle for that, don't we?
Harris.
Yeah, that's the first name that came to mind.
Anyone got the funds for that? Jesus Christ.
Anyone got if we set up a Patreon, maybe they can donate. How much do you reckon Calvin Harris charges to produce a track?
I don't know, couple of quid.
Yeah, he is Scottish. Maybe just like a Tennant's lager or something.
Mate, you know what? No,
and a battered Mars bar.
I was going to say a battered Mars bar and a Freddo. That'd do him.
Have you ever had one of them battered Mars bar?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yeah,
oh,
I've had one when I was in Edinburgh. They clap.
Oh,
really good.
They slap,
they do. It's the kind of food that you should only ever eat once, because if you have it more than the cholesterol, the heart failure is guaranteed if you have more than one.
I'm talking about heart failure. Sorry, Lukaku stinks out the game at a Champions League final where City won 1-0. In a historic treble, the only second only club to do it.
Third
in the Prem? Sorry, I was going to say is in the Prem.
Second in the Prem.
Second in the Prem, so third overall.
Yeah. Liverpool did it in the 80s.
Unbelievable, Jeff. So yeah, absolutely great. I'm honestly made up for him, and I'm even more made up. I'm even more made up because Lukaku stinked out the game in the last 15 minutes. Inter was all over him. Honestly, sorry, but Manchester City, literally all of their defense switched off, and Lukaku had a couple of shots that were like honestly terrible. As I said before, I thought he was playing cricket, and then he also blocked one with his foot as well, with his leg, which was an inevitable goal as well.
Yeah. And then he had a good opportunity with a header as well, and just headed it basically straight at. Or Edison, made it easy for Edison to save, if you can say that.
Mate, honestly.
I mean, great stuff. I think it's good to be alive when like major things happen in football, and to see a team do a treble, and to see what it takes, and like how good of a squad and how good players need to play to do that. It's always impressive. I'm happy that Haaland can add that kind of achievement to his.
I'm happy
his
for
growing
the whole
list
squad.
of records.
There's no one that I don't like in that squad, honestly. I think they're all lads. To be fair, and I cannot stand Manchester United. I cannot stand them at all. And
Yeah.
I actually quite like Man City. Maybe it's because they're in blue. I don't know. But like,
Yeah, there's an affinity there.
there's
Maybe.
like a majority of red teams I hate. The only one I can bear with is Liverpool. I don't mind Liverpool. But
Yeah.
everyone else, fucking hell, mate. Do me, Eden. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm
There's been a
grateful.
lot of chat, obviously, about their achievement. Obviously, with all the sanctions, the financial sanctions, and what it means for football, European football, that they can
Mate, sorry,
prosper.
only 110 sanctions. Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry, only 110.
Only 110 accusations of cheating.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, it calls into question maybe the validity of their win, apparently, but at the end of the day, there are 11 footballers on the pitch who play,
Exactly.
the
money's not
50,
changing the football.
Yeah, it's 60. And to be fair, when you look at the amount of money that Man City spend, actually, they probably spend the same as like United do and Chelsea do and Arsenal do in some seasons.
You know how much money that is.
And so it's not just the money; it's also the organisation and the planning. And the fact that they wanted Pep, they made the club in his image, and now they're reaping the rewards because they're just, man, they are a juggernaut and they're just rolling through, and they're going to sign players again this summer and they'll get better, and they may even go on to do 4 in a row in the Premier League. So yeah, we shall see.
We shall see. Moving on, we got Bellingham to Real Madrid. For 100 million euros, confirmed today actually by Real Madrid. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, so we mentioned it last week, but it wasn't entirely confirmed, but it was effectively confirmed. But now it's come out from Real. They've done the hashtags, they've done the images on Twitter.
The hashtags, it's confirmed.
Yeah, they've got the hashtag Hey Jude going, so fair enough. I mean, an amazing deal, really.
I wanted him in the Prem, I'm not gonna lie.
I know, of course, we always want the best players in the Prem, but Real Madrid are having an exodus of players who've been with them for years, who've won multiple trophies with them, so they need to replace them with other top talent. I'm very curious to see how he gets on. It's a 6-year contract as well, so he's in for the long haul.
Really, he's going to come out in his prime anyway. He's only 19.
He's 19, which is a piss take, by the way. He's only 19. He's already.
It feels like he's been around forever.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's so crazy because he started at Birmingham at 16. He left there pretty quickly. Dortmund we're having a bit of that.
Yeah.
He went to Dortmund when he was 16, 17. He's been there for a couple of years. He's shown that he can do it in international tournaments. He can do it in Europe. And Real have come in and be like, look, 100 mil, bosh, we'll have him.
100 million.
And he adds to their collection of incredibly exciting midfield talent because now they've got Bellingham, they've got Tchouaméni, who they also paid 100 mil for, and they've got Camavinga as well, who's like one of Europe's other really exciting centre mid talent. So, in theory,
the most expensive youngster,
Bellingham.
Yeah.
I think Mbappe is higher. I think he was 140 million.
Was he?
Yeah.
Right, okay. What, at 19?
And like when he came from Monaco to PSG.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Bloody
so,
hell.
yeah. But he is the most expensive English player ever, Bellingham now.
Oh,
so he's just slightly above
he's
Jack
fucking
Grealish, I think.
Unbelievable though. Jesus.
He's a great player, yeah, and he's also, it's easy to forget, he's been a captain at Dortmund. He's not just a player,
that's mental.
He's a captain, so he's got crazy charisma and leadership qualities for such a young age. What makes him such a unique player?
And you are a captain of Dortmund.
I know.
What the fuck is his life, man?
Yeah.
That is mental.
And I imagine it'll be one of those deals like us with Enzo. We paid a lot of money, but you forget about it straight away because he comes in and he's a baller.
Yeah.
So it's I don't care how much he costs. He's a great player. We've got him for the next 5 or 6 years.
Saying about Enzo, I saw a thing on today, comments and that. People always like to give their opinions. And they were like, oh yeah, Enzo was a waste of money, weren't he? And I'm like, you obviously don't watch Chelsea.
Who's saying that? Who's saying that?
Some just random geezer, I don't know, probably called Gary or something. But
too many random geezers.
You know what
online.
I mean? Just a random geezer going, oh yeah, he was shit, weren't he? It's like, well, are you mental, bruv? He done more.
Your fat mum shit, bro. How about that, Gary?
He done more in the second half than most players in the whole season. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we was talking about Mbappe, so I'm going to come back to Mbappe and say
Yeah,
Mbappe has made it clear now that he will not renew his deal past the end of his current contract, which runs out next summer. But
yeah,
that being said, he has also stated that he is happy at PSG and he's
yeah,
staying for the season. So
yeah.
who the hell's going to get Mbappe on a free next year?
Well,
That's
bloody
mental.
hell. I mean, it's a crazy. We just said about he cost 140 mil as a youngster for when PSG started for Monaco. He's probably the most valuable player in world football for his talent. Maybe Haaland is now above him for the
Haaland,
season he's just
definitely
had.
Haaland.
But in terms of his profile, his ability to affect games, he's won World Cups, he's won leagues already. He's already won He's amazing. He's Mbappe. You know what I mean? He's literally one of the best players in Europe. But yeah, this puts PSG in a really tough spot. Apparently, they're fuming about it because you signal your intent to go.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of knew he was never. He didn't seem like he wanted to stay at PSG long term, but you've got a potentially a 150 million euro player now who's basically just let the world know that I'm not going to renew my deal. So there's a definitive end, to when that deal is. And if it is next summer, clubs can start tapping him up now, really. They can start having words. But look, like, I'm sure Real we know Real want him.
Yeah.
But, they've just spent 100 million on Bellingham. They probably don't have the capital to go and get Mbappe now.
The thing is, with Mbappe as well, isn't he like part owner of PSG now as well?
He's got a crazy contract. I don't know all the details, but like part of him re-signing when he did was for stuff like that, for image rights and crazy shit. So he's making the bag and he's using his his talent well in terms of like his own what he's getting out of his career. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if you deep it, then if he does stay another year, which he says he's going to do, and he rides it out, and then it comes to the end of his contract, and he's on a free.
Relinquish all the rights to the club? Because he has got a deal where he owns some of the club. He owns
an ownership stake. Yeah,
which is crazy, by the way, because he has majority decisions and everything. It's mad. And this is where we was talking about last year, saying no player is bigger than the club, but PSG made him bigger than the club.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why they're in such a tough spot now, and he holds so much control over like what they do, and anything that he says about his future massively affects.
Honestly, mate, they're so
not even just the player squad. It's weird, isn't it? They've definitely put all their eggs in the Mbappe basket. I'd like to see him move away from PSG. Obviously, bring him to the Chelsea. You know what I mean? There have been pictures this week of him and Reece hanging out. So Agent Reece is doing his best work to try and get him to come to the club. Maybe. Obviously, we'd love to see Mbappe. The only thing is, I guess, his contract would be astronomically large, and if he does come on a free, his signing on fee will also be mental.
Huge,
his agent will probably want 100 million himself.
And so if he wants any part or if he wants to own any part of Chelsea, then it's not happening.
It's a bit weird.
You're not bigger than the Chelsea.
Yeah, so we'll watch it obviously with keen eye. I hope he'll just go to Real, to be honest, and I think him Bellingham. I mean, it'd be a proper Galactico Real again. And you love to see it. Everyone looks good in that white kit. And he would tear up the Liga, and he would probably get his first Champions League as well, because Real know how to win bloody Champions League. So something to keep an eye on.
PSG's never won one.
Exactly, the bastards.
Moving on. Did you want to take this one?
Yeah, let's end the show with a feel good story of one of our kind of iconic managers from the early 2000s. It's Don Claudio Ranieri, the Tinkerman, who's now 71, is managing in Serie B, or was, with Cagliari, again another iconic Italian club, who he's just got back into the Serie A. So the story is he came in December. They were 14th, having a tough time. He galvanised the squad and has helped them climb their way up the table, where they were promoted this last weekend after a 91st minute winner in their final league game. And the video, the tape of him crying, he managed Calgary back in the bloody 40 years ago. It was one of the first clubs he managed. So he's got pedigree with them and heritage. And And I think to see a manager who's had so many roles, has managed so many clubs, worked with so many players, to like cry and be emotional at something happening shows how much it meant to him.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and the good thing about Italian football, they are bloody passionate, and they really fucking care about everything.
One thing you can't take away from them is the passion.
Yeah,
especially
they really
the ultras.
care.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah. And so I would suggest anyone who likes to see, you know, why we like football and the reasons why we watch football is for the emotion and the passion. Go and find the video, because it's just lovely to see him crying, you know, just to see him happy.
Terrible,
but I know, but just to see, you know, him happy and like, you know, proud of his achievements, and the fact that he's still doing it at 71 says a lot about him as a person. And it's a nice story to end the show on, I would suggest.
Yeah, and I think that is all wrapped up for this week. We will be back on the weekend with another little video, just maybe a little update video. We got quite a little bit of ideas in the old storage, so we'll crack one of those out. And we hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell us who you want to see. I want to see your transfer wish list, man. But yeah, that's all for now. We shall update you when we know more news. Inevitably, everything will probably change by the time this is out. But we move. That's transfer season for you. So yeah, I've been Clark. My illustrious co-host has been Bo, and as always, up the Chels.
Thanks for listening to The Pride. If you enjoyed what you heard, feel free to leave us a review on your podcast app of choice, and maybe drop a like or follow on our YouTube, Twitter, TikTok and Instagram pages. And as always, up the Chels.